No? No? Yes, we are live.
Sim,
Hello.
estamos, sim, estamos ao vivo.
Oh,
Olá.
We can hear you.
we can hear you. Are we doing? Okay, now we can't hear you again. Welcome, everyone. As you can tell, we have Portuguese translation by the amazing Miss Norma. So we're diving into the Body Whispering book that's written by Dr. Dain Heer, and it came out a few years ago. And Body Whispering is really one of my favorite topics. You can talk about it in so many different ways: communicating with your body, talking with your body, whispering with your body. But for me, a lot of this is how we start actually receiving from our bodies all the things that they know. And I've invited a few people on. So we have Victoria on, we have Norma on, who's actually translating, but she's going to participate a little bit anyway. And we may have some more people coming on just to use this amazing book, Body Whispering, that Dain Heer wrote as a starting point for this conversation, where we dive into what is our bodies telling us, what they know about us. And my name is Katarina Wallentin, and I've been working with the Access tools and bodies really for the past 15 years since I started Access. I used to see myself as this, like, my head was basically carried around by my body. The body was just there to, like, move my brain around in the world. Oh, welcome, Simone. I'm just doing a quick introduction here. So I didn't really see my body as something that was very relevant to our experience here on Earth. And once I started to explore consciousness, energies, and really the sense of coming alive, I become my body's biggest fan. Our bodies are these sensory organisms that really allows us to experience life here on Earth. And my body is often so much wiser than me when it comes to so many things. So this, for me, body whispering, is a way to really get in touch with you, with consciousness, and with the energies that everything is and consists of and moves with in the world. So, welcome, Simone and Victoria again. And do you want to mention something about the book, and maybe tell us what pinged for you when I asked you to find a paragraph in the book to talk about?
Should I go?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
so first, just wanted to say that that intro was amazing. And I was listening the other day after we talked about doing this live. I was listening to the podcast episode that you did with Dane talking about this book and bodies. And
Oh,
it is so awesome, like to actually include the bodies, because so much of so many of the energy works that you find so many times don't include the bodies. And at least for me,
mm,
in a lot of ways, my body was like, okay, there's the body here, but then what if you actually allow, like you said, and it's so beautiful, like you allow your body to show you things that you might not even know. And this book for me was like life changing. It's one of, I might say it's my favorite book. I don't know if I should say that because it might change, but it was like, okay, I wanted to have this book since I was a kid because it would have changed everything in my life. And I wonder, like, when I was going through it, I was like, okay, this is a very difficult task trying to find one one thing that I could share. That it was like, okay, this. But I was looking for that sense of like going out of rightness and wrongness, which is something that I get this book has invited me so much to. And it's
mm.
something that we are not invited to do in this reality so many times. Like we are so stuck in the rightness and wrongness of our bodies, even with like loving your body and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Go for it. Read it.
Oh, I should read it already? Okay.
Yes.
I also have the part from, okay, but I can read that later because I have the part from Norma who's translating, but
Yes.
I can do that.
Let's
Okay.
let's start somewhere, and then we'll see where our exploration takes us. But yes,
Okay.
let's read a little bit from the book because it brings the energy of the book into our conversation, which always contributes.
So, what happens when we do listen to our bodies? When you start listening and talking to bodies, you, your own, and others, You move away from predicting, assuming, and judging what they require. You start listening with openness and without any fixed point of view or judgments. Your awareness accelerates. There's an easy alertness to how you are with people. You gain insights in a flash that talking and thinking may never have led you to. As your relationship with your body develops, you undo so much that has been causing you pain or keeping you static. If you are a protection healer, your clients will love coming to you because you contribute in phenomenal ways to their life and living. And when you are that effective, word can help but spread. Your clients will tell anyone who listen how awesome you are. In short, you become a beacon to the people around you, not just your clients, but also your family, your friends, and anyone you interact with. At Access, we realized a long time ago that consciousness is contagious. Let's use this to our advantage and create an epidemic of awareness. Are you ready to reawaken your natural connection to every molecule around you? To listen with more and more ease and to unlock doors that have been closed and cemented up for years? Get this, you are already on the path just by reading this book and being open to the ideas within it, you are on your way.
Oh, it's a wonderful paragraph, and it contains so many different things that I wanted to address now. So first, I want to address this that often comes up for people. This book, it says on the backside that it is for healers and practitioners and people that work with bodies, and for everyone who has a body. And that's really, really important. We're all working with bodies because we all have bodies and we're all surrounded by bodies and we all interact with bodies all the time. If you're a practitioner of some kind, like a massage therapist or something similar to that, you have a different way where bodies is part of your work, but really everyone works with bodies. It's strange, but and we're all healers and we all have capacity. And I don't mean necessarily healing from a particular disease or healing in the way that the word healing has been used before. One of the things that Dain brings up in the book is that the way he looks at healing is a very different paradigm than anybody else has talked about before, which is really where all disease comes from unconsciousness. And everywhere where we get out of the disease or where we change it, it actually comes from an increase of consciousness, which leads to a different choice, which leads to a possibility for change. And we all have the capacity for that. So that part, when you were talking about that, and the other thing that I really find so amazing about that particular paragraph is how when we're trying to get our bodies right, we solidify them. And that then we have to hold that in place, because then we have to make the choice of solidifying them right. It's like the choice upon a choice upon a choice upon a choice. And one of the things that I've experienced more and more is I realized how we're so trained by media and this reality basically to judge people based on how they look on the outside. But what we're really drawn to, if we are brutally honest with ourselves, most of us at least, once our bodies start to come alive, we're drawn to other bodies that are alive. It's not so much if they fulfill all those things that like how they're supposed to look like. We can enjoy beauty, but the aliveness is what attracts us. And what if we were willing to really acknowledge that about us? Like, what if our aliveness is really what we're longing for, to come more alive, to get all our molecules, like you were saying, to start vibrating in every way possible. So, Simone, do you want to add something? I was like,
yes, and yes for everything, and with the bodies, that's the sentence that I picked up is actually right at the beginning of the book, where it says energy is your body first language, and it's your first language as well. because as you just said, because we sense it, and when we get, and as Victoria said, that I would love to have that awareness, or being taught that early in the beginning of my life, like as a child, because when we get that, we actually know, like the everything that Access tells us, but it's different when we actually we follow our body's awareness, our body's energy, what our body are telling us. We actually change the way our life can, like the path that we are going towards whatever we are choosing. Because if we get the heaven light, the tool, but we are congruent with our body's energy, whatever our body is telling us, we can create our lives, the way we live, or whatever we want to create, in a different way. We are more aligned, we are more congruent with our truly wishes. Do you know what I mean? Like as our body. Yeah. You want to say
What's
something?
funny, this word congruency is been one of my favorite words lately, because being congruent with yourself, being congruent with what you say you desire, you say you choose, you like, all of that is so potent. Like when you are congruent, things change. When you're congruent and you ask for something, it shows up. That's also where, when we talk about access consciousness and all the tools, you can say, I wish to talk more of my body, but then if you don't really want to listen to what the body is saying, you are actually not congruent with that. Does that, like, we talk about asking questions, and we talk about being willing to choose something different, but all of that only works if you actually are congruent with it. If it's in your core, if it comes from what you truly desire, not what you think you should desire, or what you think somebody else wants you to desire, or what you think your facilitator thinks you should ask for. That consciousness requires is brutal honesty with yourself and your body, and like really being willing to listen. What does your body actually say? Like, if your body is whispering to you about something that has to change with the way you're choosing currently, if you're not listening at all to it, it will basically, it needs you to actually be willing to listen, and then for you to start making a different choice for it to change. There's this co-creation that occurs with your body, with consciousness, with energies, and the congruence is like at the very beginning of that. So I love that you mentioned that, being congruent with the energy. There's this funny example in the book that I love, and it's an old one with Dain, where he was in this restaurant where he ordered a salad, and he was convinced that he liked honey mustard dressing. I think it's that way, or it's the opposite way, but he was convinced. So he thought he ordered the salad with honey mustard dressing, and then the waiter came back and gave him ranch dressing instead. And Gary said, hey, why don't you taste it with the ranch dressing before you send it back? And he did, and it was like so good and so yummy. And his body has basically overridden him by ordering the ranch dressing. Like congruently, the waiter could only hear that dressing because that is actually what was required. That happens to me all the time. I tend to often get things in restaurants because I'm also willing to let my body override me and order what it actually requires. So this whole like dance with whispering, listening, exploring and practicing with your bodies, for me, is really how we learned, like you say, to change the whole trajectory of our lives.
And actually to trust our our body. I think that's if we don't practice, and if we not allow ourselves to practice and actually learn to trust, because we are not learned to trust our bodies as if it was like, oh no, it's just there, it is just there. And actually, no, as Victoria and you just said everything, and the congruency is just allow yourself to trust at least once, and then you
and build on that, build on that first trust, basically, and start.
Yeah, exactly. And it's beautiful when we allow that, and we let our body, it's not being in control, but actually guide us. And and it's kind of controlling but not controlling, and more taking out our mind out of the way and let it guide us, because it's just like a guidance. It's not, and at the end is our choice here, but let's choose here, being congruent with the choice that our body are just whispering to us the way to go.
I was thinking of this easy tool for people to start playing. So one of the ways, if you want to start trusting your body, there are several tools, but this one popped right now for me. It's actually going how can I make this question even more undefined? So one question that people often start asking is, hey body, what would you like to eat? Right? That's a simple question, and we that's our starting point. And what I've started to do is what if I could make that question even less defined? Because there's still a conclusion there. The conclusion is my body wants to eat, right? There's the whole question is based in that conclusion. What if the first question was instead, body, would you like to eat? And then you can make it even bigger. Hey body, what do you require? And then if you make it even more undefined, you go, hey body, do you require something? Right? So you kind of basically make it as big as you can to allow the body to actually tell you what's going on. Because as soon as you start with a conclusion, then you already decided you know a little bit better than the body. It's lunchtime. Of course we want to eat. So body, I'll give you this choice. You can decide what we eat now when we've decided that we want to eat. So that's like playing and practicing with that, because as you say, we've never been taught to really allow our bodies to take the lead.
And one thing for me just quickly, when you were both talking about the congruency, is so much about just being, because we can still go to our heads, like you're saying, yes, it's lunchtime, we should be eating. Yeah. And then you think you're asking a question because it looks like a question, but it's not really from that. That's awesome. That's an amazing tool. The undefined question, every time you can use with anything, and with your body, it gives you such a difference. There's a difference that you can be with your body that no one has ever said to you that you're allowed to, because we have all the right ways to be with bodies, right?
And it's funny when you're saying that, because one of the things I was looking at for both of you, you were talking about trust, Simone, and you were talking about this being, the whole thing. And what that really creates is kind of moving towards a relaxation with your body. Starting to relax with your body, getting out of this where our relationship with our bodies is basically built on, is my body good or bad? Should I correct something? Should I fix something? Should I, enjoy something even? Instead of just relaxing. And that also takes practice, because we've been hardwired to continuously look for something to fix or make better, or instead of just being, like you're saying, with the body, relaxing. And that particular undefining the question somehow for me allows me to relax. Because if I can undefine it, there's a bigger space for me to be with my body, and there's a bigger space for my body to be with me. So there's this sense of space for exploration in that.
Yeah.
So
and-
Simone, yeah, no, go,
no,
please.
no, please, no. Yeah, you can say.
I was going to ask Simone if she had pulled a paragraph from the book. So I'd love to hear your comment first before we go there.
Yeah, I was gonna say about it was here. Yeah, I was gonna the thing is with the body process that we are allowing in our body. That's relaxation that you just mentioned. When we are congruent with the energies, I would say the energy that our body is, well, the language, like whatever our body is telling us, when we are congruent, that relaxation is just being, it's natural to us. We do not have to, if we are not, I would say, resonant with that energy, there is the incongruency. When we are congruent with that energy that, our bodies are being, the relaxation is just natural. It's just like, you cannot not be congruent. You know what I mean?
No. Oh, it's so true. And it's so I'm an Access Body Class facilitator, and I do 3-day classes where we dive into these Access body processes. But the first body process that you learn in Access is actually bars. It's one of the most amazing body processes we have. And then you can take 1-day body process classes, and you also get them in foundation. Like if you're just starting in this world of Access consciousness, there's a lot of ways that you probably already have come into contact with them. And bars is the first one. But all of the body processes, their aim is for people to learn to receive and to be willing to include their bodies in that. So for me, the body classes where we do body processes over 3 days, one of the most amazing things that you actually get to experience, that you learn, that you get to practice is receiving, trusting, like we were talking about, and relaxing into not only the receiving of the energies of all the bodies, the person that's working on you, but all the bodies in the room, but also relaxing into the knowing that you have the capacity to contribute to another body. That's one of the most empowering parts of the body classes, is that they are based on that we all can contribute to each other. They're based on the very idea that my body and my energies and the Access body processes come together, and then I get to gift this to another person who is willing to receive it. And when you get to do that over 3 days, it changes the whole way, your whole perspective of bodies, of living, really, of energies, and how you interact with other people. Because it's not about this. It's not about the talking. It's about what you be with the other bodies and the energies you be with them, and what you actually can gift them from that space. And that is one of the most beautiful things there is. That's why I love those classes.
And actually, it doesn't have to be only human beings, because the other day here in my house, there's like a glass door, and there's come this little bird. It was a baby bird, and I just heard boom, and I looked at, and it was this baby bird knocked out on the floor, and I went, whoa, no! And it's the bird in the name of the bird in Portuguese is bem TV. And it's such a beautiful one, has like a very thin beak, and it was a baby, really small. And I went there, and he was just like faint on the floor. And I just put my hands in there, and I did some body process on it. And for a little time, he was just there. And then all of a sudden, he just bloop, 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 and went under my hands, and I was there for a while. And then he was okay, kind of, and I took it over my hands. He, with his little, feet, put it here on my little finger, and I gave it some water. And then I stayed there for a while, just like this. It was really a small ball. It's smaller than a tennis ball, you know what I mean? Like really small. And I was there for a while, and stay there. And then, okay, I put it on the floor. And then, I don't know, some minutes later I said, okay, the water is here. You are fine. Just do whatever you, and he just flew away, and
That's
it's
beautiful.
like, yeah. And then it's not like, human beings' bodies that we can actually contribute to with the body process. And I think this is, amazing.
Yeah. And as we go through the world, once we start learning and exploring energies and body processes and all kinds of energies that we have in access, we also contribute to everything around us continuously. And that's that interaction, the coming alive of all your molecules that we were reading, that we were hearing about from the paragraph that Vitória was reading. And I think that for a lot of people, this is something that they don't realize it's so easily accessible. It's not rocket science. This is something you can choose right now and explore and access and claim for your life. So, okay. So Simone, what did you pick from the book?
It was like, have you ever walked into a room and knew in a second that whoever was in that room was annoyed with you? Maybe it was your partner, your mom, your sister, your boss, even before they said a word, or maybe eye contact with you. Even in the second you touched the door handle to enter the room, you knew they were harboring a resentment or a judgment. And, that for me is just like, it's like the body language is just like, we know, and then if we have to practice something, we just know, and then there's nothing that goes against our knowing, So when we are, because for me, it's just like energy is your body first language, and it's your first language. So once we get that, it's in the very simple, way we can actually get what our body are telling us. Not exactly in Portuguese or English or German or anything. It's just like it's the energy. And so to practice that body language, the energy language that we understand in whatever language we speak, we just get that.
And can I add something? Oh, sorry,
Yes,
Kat.
please.
Want to go? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
I was just going with what Simone said, and you mentioning like, what can people choose today to start going to that direction? And I wanted to add like, and be willing to fail, like be willing to choose something for your body and like totally mess up and say, okay, that was not really what my body wanted. But then you also get more of a sense, because if you try going the direction of start listening to your body, but you still want to make it right, like make the right choice, it's not gonna work. Like, because it's so much about unlearning a lot of things that were put to us as the right way to be or the right way to choose for your body, instead of like, okay, what does my body really can show me?
And it's funny because choice, well, it's just that choice creates awareness. It's such a you put it so brilliantly, Vitória, because awareness does not create choice. Because if you have to have the awareness before you choose, then you can like never leave your house until all the lights are green, basically, because you have to know everything before you even move. But if you're willing to choose and learn from every choice, like you're saying, if you're willing to be wrong, get it wrong, explore it, that's how you learn. That's like how they say, when you ski, actually, when you stop falling in this hills, that's when you stop learning. Then you decided this is at the level I want to be. This is like my plateau of skiing. And instead of like, if you actually, when you keep doing, you don't need to do mistakes all the time, but when you're willing to actually get it wrong and push a little bit and explore something different and see where that takes you, that's when you keep learning. That's when you and your body basically together explore where to take this. So thank you. That's so brilliant, Victoria. And with the energy thing, I think also we've been taught a lot to avoid that awareness. So when you were talking about, like in the book, it says, do you know if somebody's annoyed with you when you come in through the door? So many of us know that. Like in a moment, in a split second, we know if the energy with somebody or somebody's body's changed. When we are intimate with somebody, we definitely know it, right? We know when even if they pull away, even if it's not even a physical pull away, we know when they're starting to pull away, like when they're, we have that awareness all the time. But because there's so little in the world where somebody is showing us how to handle that, how do you bring it up? How do you even, like, what do you do when you are aware of particular energies? Like, how do you handle them? Even when somebody's really attracted to you, how do you handle that? How do you handle when people are drawn to you when you don't, like, maybe not want them to be drawn to you? Like all of that, all these energies that we don't know what to do with because we so want to get things right, because we don't want to be wrong. It's easier just to avoid it. It's easier just not to recognize that our bodies are acutely aware of all bodies around us and what they desire and want from us and not want from us. So I think one of the best starting places with this is to really start, okay, I will no longer ignore the awareness I'm getting, even if I have no clue what to do with it. Even if it makes me a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning, that I'm actually aware of all of these things going on, I will start just acknowledging it. Okay, I'm aware. And you don't even need to know what it is. Just, okay, I'm aware of something. Something just changed. What was it? And if it's somebody you know well, you can ask, hey, what changed? Like, what shifted right now? If they're willing to go on that exploration. So yeah, that's another big part of our bodies, is that they are energetic. And the awareness that we get from them is usually not in words, it's energetic. The way they whisper is energetic. So it's like the first step of getting that is to learn that language. Yeah, who was saying something?
I was gonna just say that, like, that is so true, and it's such a, like, I don't know if Simone, if you want to go as quickly, but you gotta, like, truly trust yourself, even if no one agrees with you when you are getting those awarenesses of your body, with your body, like from your body, whatever. But like when you get, okay, something shifted, like you said, sometimes you won't have anyone around you that will tell you, like, yes, something shifted. But you still can be that for yourself and for your body when your body is showing that information. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also there's what if you didn't need that validation of your awareness? Because that's also where all our lives we think it's only valuable, real, or true if somebody else aligns and agrees or resists and react to it. So what you were saying there, what if we could be that for us? Like, what if we would be willing to trust our bodies when our body shows us something, even if no one else gets it? That is the trusting of the body that Simone brought up in the very beginning too. Like learning to trust the way our body whispers to us. So that whole practice too. So we're running out of, this is going very quickly. We had one more thing from Norma that we wanted to read from the book. Are you going to read it for her, Victoria, or what are we going to do?
It's actually just below what Simone was reading. So here's another way energy speaks to us. Do you have someone in your life who's really in tune with you, really gets you? And just from saying hi over the phone, they know you have something difficult going on in your life. Your words might say you're fine, but your friend is hearing something else. They're hearing your energy. It's quick, instant, natural. And you can have that instantaneous connection, that common language with everything in the universe. Everything, including or especially your body. It's just a case of choosing to tune in and practicing this skill you've been unaware of until now. It starts with you. It's so much of what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it worked really well with that. And in that particular, this whole way how we communicate with energies in our bodies, I think that's one of the, for me, has been one of the most changing parts in my life. Because I would say energy is my first language, but from when I was very little, I was considered quite annoying because I was so aware of what was going on underneath all there was so many hidden agendas and so many secret agendas and so many things you're not supposed to say. Like my family functioned a lot on suppressed anger. So nobody ever said what was going on. Like nobody ever, and I was so aware of it. And I was so trying to find a way to at least bring it up to the surface. So wherever if you're listening to this, wherever you've literally pushed all that awareness down and kind of locked it into your body and are telling your body not to show you, one of the best ways of really starting to open up, like basically unsolidifying the conclusion you made that awareness via your body is something bad and wrong and not to be trusted, is to start playing with the energies of receiving. Like start actually allowing yourself to try some of these tools. Like and it doesn't need to be much more than what we were talking about before, opening up the question, right? Making the question more undefined, or asking this question, if you've been in Access for any point of time, you probably heard this: who does this belong to? It's a big part of the Body Whispering book, what Dain talks about, that, we talk about 99% of what we feel and think doesn't belong to us. We pick it up from other people, but the same is for your body. Your body picks things up from other people all the time. Your body is acutely aware of what's going on in other people's bodies. And once you are willing to become aware that maybe this isn't mine, maybe whatever is going on in my body is something I picked up from the person I just passed on the street, you don't have to claim it as yours. You don't have to keep it even. So that whole world of just being in the question opens up for this whole new way where you don't have to suppress and avoid the energetic whispering of your body. Okay, so what else do we want to add? I'm actually coming to Brazil to explore this and more in a 3-day body class pretty soon. And for me, those classes have been one of the main doors into a trust with my body that I haven't achieved through this. It's a trust with my body that I achieved through my body, for my body being part of what we create in these classes and in the world.
I love that. And I'm so excited you're coming. So Katarina is coming on September 16 to 18, doing a 3-day body class in São Paulo. And also in introducing the symphony on the 17th. Yes. You're all super invited to come. If you require any information, you can ping us, send me a message or anything. I'd be happy to contribute to you.
Yeah, let me mention the Symphony of Possibilities too, because it's called Introducing the Symphony, and it's an evening class where we really dive into the energetics of these energies that we're talking about. So it is about the body, but it's also about all the energies that we're aware of around us in the universe and in the world. And so you could come just to that class if you like to, if you're interested in this, if any of this has like sparked some interest in you. And if you live in Brazil or the surrounding areas, you may be listening to this from some other part of the world. And there are classes going on with 3-day body class facilitators all over the world. You can check on the website, and there are classes with, I think we're 80 body class facilitators now. And there's also around 80 advanced symphony practitioners that do these Introducing the Symphony classes all over the world. So if any of this sparks an interest in you, I would do this. I would ask my body. I would ask my body, what do you require? Does any of this spark anything in you? And if yes, tell me when and where to go. And then see where that takes you and leads you, because your body knows. It knows way more than we've ever given it credit for. So should we end there for today?
I think so.
Huh?
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. See you somewhere around the world with your body.